What if the life you're living, your daily routines, your ambitions, your pursuit of pleasure, was nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion? What if everything you've been told to chase, success, wealth, comfort, wasn't leading you toward fulfillment, but was instead a slow descent into a hollow existence? C.S. Lewis, one of the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, believed that modern life was full of distractions designed to keep us from recognizing a deeper, more lasting truth. He warned that without something greater to anchor ourselves to, life becomes nothing more than an endless cycle of empty pleasures and meaningless suffering. But what did he mean by this? Was he simply critiquing materialism, or was his warning something far more profound? In this video, we explore Lewis's stark view on the emptiness of life, the dangers of a world disconnected from deeper meaning, and most importantly, how to escape the void. Lewis wasn't against pleasure, far from it. He believed that pleasure was a good thing, even a divine gift. But he also warned that when pleasure becomes the ultimate goal, it leads to emptiness rather than fulfillment. He described this in his novel, The Screwtape Letters, where an experienced demon advises a younger one on how to lead humans astray. The method? Not through great evils, but through small, meaningless distractions, harmless pleasures that eventually consume a person's entire life. When pleasure is sought for its own sake, it loses its richness. It becomes shallow, requiring more and more stimulation just to feel the same effect. Think about it. How many people live their lives chasing entertainment, comfort, or status, only to feel more restless than before? Lewis argued that when we remove deeper purpose from our lives, all that remains is a string of fleeting experiences, none of which bring lasting satisfaction. It's not that pleasure is bad, it's that when we make it the center of our lives, we become prisoners to it. One of Lewis's strongest warnings was about pride, the belief that we are self-sufficient, that we don't need anything beyond ourselves. In Mere Christianity, he describes pride as the essential vice, the utmost evil. He argued that pride isolates us, making us constantly compare ourselves to others, forever chasing status, never at peace with what we have. The world encourages self-sufficiency as a virtue. We are told that independence is the key to happiness, that needing others, or worse, needing something beyond ourselves, is weakness. But Lewis saw the flaw in this thinking. If we cut ourselves off from others, from something greater than ourselves, we inevitably become lonely and dissatisfied. The more we elevate our own importance, the more we feel the weight of our own inadequacy. The higher we climb on the ladder of self-importance, the more devastating it is when we realize we are still unfulfilled. So why do we do it? Because pride tricks us into believing that the next achievement, the next recognition, will finally bring peace. But Lewis argued that the peace we seek doesn't come from within. It comes from beyond ourselves. In his novel, The Great Divorce, Lewis paints a haunting picture of people trapped in a meaningless existence, wandering in a dull, empty city where nothing satisfies them. The city is vast, yet lifeless, filled with people who continue to move further and further away from each other, never realizing they are in a self-made hell. This was Lewis's warning, that if we are not careful, we will spend our lives chasing things that ultimately leave us empty. A comfortable life, a successful career, endless entertainment, none of these are inherently bad. But if they become our sole focus, they create a void rather than filling one. Lewis believed that the world gives us cheap substitutes for real meaning. It offers endless distractions, convincing us that the next purchase, the next relationship, the next experience will bring fulfillment. And yet, the more we chase, the more restless we become. Because deep down, we know that we are made for something more. So how do we escape? If modern life is designed to keep us distracted and empty, what's the way out? For Lewis, the answer was clear. We must seek something beyond ourselves. He argued that true fulfillment comes not from within, but from something higher, something eternal. In Mere Christianity, he wrote, "If I find in myself a desire which no experience in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world." In other words, the deep restlessness we feel is not a sign that life has no meaning. It's a sign that we are looking in the wrong place. Lewis believed that the only way to fill the emptiness was to reconnect with something greater than ourselves, whether through faith, through genuine relationships, or through the pursuit of truth and virtue. This isn't about rejecting life's pleasures or abandoning ambition. It's about reorienting our focus. Instead of chasing happiness as an end goal, we should seek truth, goodness, and purpose. And in doing so, happiness will follow as a byproduct. C.S. Lewis warned that the greatest danger of modern life is not suffering, but distraction. Not pain, but numbness. It is a slow drift into an empty existence, one where we mistake entertainment for joy, pride for self-worth, and comfort for fulfillment. And by the time we realize we have been chasing illusions, it may be too late. But it doesn't have to be that way. Life's deepest longings are not meant to be silenced or dulled with temporary pleasures. They are meant to guide us towards something greater. Lewis believed that our hunger for meaning was proof that meaning exists. The question is whether we will stop running long enough to seek it. Because in the end, the choice isn't between happiness and suffering. It's between meaning and emptiness. And that choice is yours to make. Thanks for listening.